Welcome back for another video. Team selection and transfer plans for Gameweek27, what's the latest on Haaland's injury, and let's discuss everything that we've learned from Gameweek26 to take into next week. Leave a comment with how you're getting on below. Good luck in the remainder of the double game week, whoever you've got left to play. Chelsea versus Leeds was a fantastic game if you had Palmer or Joao Pedro, but if you owned a defender or Enzo, not so much. A 2-2 draw with Leeds, some points dropped, but double-digit returns from Joao Pedro, who scored, and he won another penalty for Palmer, which Palmer buried. I think that makes it 8 penalties in Chelsea's last 13 games in all comps, which is crazy. It was another really daft penalty as well, a shove on Joao Pedro, and the ref had no choice really. Only 3 other Brazilians have ever scored 10 plus goals in back-to-back seasons, which Joao Pedro just did. Firmino, Richarlison and Cunha are the other 3 that have done it. One more good fixture for Chelsea really, Burnley home next, and then I think it's time to consider selling when they've got Arsenal away in Gameweek 28. That's my plan with Enzo. 1.42 non-penalty XGI for Palmer, top of the game week so far. That's without the penalty, still top. 5 shots, 3 in the box, 2 big chances created. He did miss an absolute sitter at the end. Joao Pedro registered 1.18 non-pen XGI, which was second most of the game week. Look away Munoz bias here, he actually registered exactly 1.0 expected goal involvement. That was top of all defenders and third most after Palmer and Joao Pedro, but he didn't get any points to show for it. The screenshot here is my scout data table. Tap the link below to get 50% off membership and access to all the tools they have. If you search my name in the members area under tables, you can access all the tables that I use for videos. Spurs lost 2-1 home to Newcastle, resulting in Frank sacking. Spurs are winless in 8 Premier League games now, 4 draws, 4 losses. That's their longest run since going 9 without victory from May to October 2008. Cielo, who was heavily sold, scoring for Newcastle and he finished on 11 points. I mean, it was understandable to sell when they had Spurs away and City away. His prospects didn't look that great. I mean, Spurs easier than City away, definitely, but there were some other great options on the table like Munoz, who had Burnley home, which ended up a pretty nasty swing. It really goes to show how much luck is involved in this game. Like, what would your percentage split be on skill and luck in FPL? You know, for example, is it 75% skill, 25% luck, or is it 50-50 skill and luck? Sometimes good decisions can only take you so far, and football's just such an extremely high variance and random sport sometimes, so don't beat yourself up too much if you sold Joao or O'Reilly for a Munoz, for example. Gordon got a surprise start and he came away with an assist. If he's still got Joao at this point, he's a very easy hold. I know it's City away next, where hopefully you can bench him, but they've got some pretty handy fixtures coming up after that, like Everton home Gameweek 28, Sunderland home Gameweek 31. Don't forget about that blank in 31. Arsenal, Crystal Palace, Man City and Wolves have got scheduled blanks, so count up how many players you've got from those teams and how it might affect you. It's 5 game weeks away, and my approach personally is to use free transfers to navigate it, and then wildcard in Gameweek 32 to potentially get players back in that I might have sold. I think it's fairly easy to get through that week without a chip, but obviously team dependent. You need to decide now if you're going to save a chip or use one that week. The wrong approach to taking FPL is I'll deal with that later, which I used to do when I first started playing, and it does cost you long term, so planning is important. What's the saying? Fail to prepare, prepare to fail. Game week 34 will be a big blank game week as well, so for me it's worth weighing up what you're going to do that week versus game week 31. I'm probably going to free hit in 34. But yeah, I've got triple Arsenal, I've got double City and Mane, so that's 6 players blanking, or you could count it as 5 because I've got a backup keeper in Dubravka. So yeah, in the coming weeks I'm slowly going to fade a few of those players blanking. Man United almost hit 5 wins in a row. That guy's going to have to wait a lot longer now for the next haircut. A 1-1 draw of West Ham, Bruno blanking. Sesko with a fantastic goal off the bench from an Mbumo cross in for the assist. Mbumo got a bonus point for it as well, and Bowen assisting Souček's goal. Sesko has been having a big impact off the bench recently, and I wonder if it could impact one of Cunha and Mbumo or Ahmad soon, you know, if Karaj decides to move things around, but you definitely keep them for now. Maguire went off with a potential hamstring injury. So, who's got the best fixtures in the league? We'll split it out by the most projected goals and the most clean sheets, depending on what we're looking for. So, Liverpool are top with 11.8 projected goals for the next 6. An annoying blank for Ekitike owners last game, but he could be worth a hold. And Szoboszlai returns from suspension, but he's expected to carry on in right back, really. To be fair, not that it's been much of an issue for him in scoring points, versus the one that I'm looking at. Man City are second, and Semenyo a definite hold and then sell in 31. Or if you're already committed to free hit in Game Week 31, then he could even be a buy. Chelsea are actually third on the ticker. Now, I'm personally looking at Brentford, who are just below them, as a short-term Enzo replacement. There's a couple of options there, or maybe even a Bournemouth midfielder like a Ryan. And then after Chelsea on the ticker, it's Bournemouth, Man United, Arsenal, Villa, Newcastle and Brighton. Lots of you might have planned a Gameweek 32 wildcard as well, like myself, in which case you'd want a different Gameweek range here than the default one that we use. Go to FPL.page or go to projections on the FPL Focal app to play around with the projections ticker. I'll put the link below. Premium is only 77p a week. And looking at clean sheets, Arsenal are actually still top in the league for projected clean sheets, despite the blank in 31. And then it's Liverpool, Fulham, Brentford, Aston Villa and Man City. Finally, the patience and Van Dijk rewarded for those that had him last game week. They're second on the ticker as well for projected clean sheets, so he's an easy hold. And Anderson actually fell in price last night, which is a bit surprising. I guess it was the Man City fixture, but if you still got him, you definitely just keep hold. Like, they've got Burnley home in Gameweek 31, which is a really handy fixture for him, and what will be a pretty difficult week to maximise points without using a chip. A 14-pointer for Semenyo against Fulham. That's 5 goals and 8 since joining, and he's already matched Savinho's goal total in just 8 games. Savinho's got 5 as well in 71 games. That's 19 goal involvements for the season for Semenyo. Over the last 10 game weeks, he hasn't gone longer than 1 game blanking. Pep continued with 8-0 in left back, but O'Reilly did still get the start in midfield again, and he came away with his biggest score of the season, a goal, a bonus point and clean sheet for a 13-pointer. I was absolutely buzzing when I got the notification of this one because I kept hold of him and I didn't even know if he was going to start, honestly. You know, sometimes like scores apps can change who the scorer was and another notification comes through. So yeah, I was sweating for a second there, but I was really happy with that. He's played 4 90s in a row now at O'Reilly. Haaland did score as well, but he was taken off at half-time injured. Pep said the substitution was forced at half-time because of niggles. The good news is it's the FA Cup this weekend, otherwise he might have been a major doubt, but let's see if he's in the squad or not. Man City's next league game is the 21st of February, so there's a healthy gap between that game and the next. Nottingham Forest vs Wolves resulted in a goalless draw, and the second sacking of the week. Dijk relieved of his duties, and Forest now look for their 4th manager of the season. Nuno, and then Postecoglou, and then Dijk, now who? Forest absolutely battered them as well. They took 35 shots, 2.55 expected goals. Wolves took 7 shots. Jose Sa, though, with the game of his life. He made 10 saves, he claimed maximum bonus for a 10-pointer, and he still got the Arsenal game to go. So well played if you picked him up. Karaj got an 8-pointer as well with clean sheet and I think bonus there, or maybe Defcon. They've already overachieved what was expected of them in the double walls in terms of that first game. So yeah, well done if you had any defensive assets. Joao Gomez also did pretty well. He got Defcon for a 5-pointer. Mane unfortunately finished on 11 Defcons, just literally 1 tackle short of getting the +2 points. Sunderland lose at home for the first time this season, as Liverpool came away with a 1-0 win. Van Dijk with the ultimate game for a defender. He got the goal, the clean sheet, 13 defensive contributions, maximum bonus, 17-pointer. For comparison, a striker scoring a hat-trick is 17 points as well, which just shows how crazy that haul was. His 23rd league goal for Liverpool, and that moves him 1 clear of Hippier, who got 22. So he's the defender with the most goals in Premier League history for Liverpool. Ekitike with a frustrating blank. Alisson got a bonus point. It was Salah's corner for the Van Dijk goal, by the way, so he got the assist. I wonder how many are looking at a switch from Haaland to Salah in that lead up to blank Gameweek 31 and then wildcard Haaland back in. Like, Liverpool have got West Ham home in Gameweek 28, and then they've got Wolves away Gameweek 29. He hasn't scored in his last 4 since coming back from AFCON, but he does have 3 assists. And lastly, in other news, Palace lost 3-2 home to Burnley. Big upset. Not just the fact that Palace were heavy favourites, and Burnley obviously one of the favourites to go down, but Burnley the first team to go 2-0 behind in the first half, but then still be leading by half-time since Hull against West Ham in 2009. Strand Larsen bagging a brace for a 13-pointer though. Bournemouth's recruitment continues to impress. Ryan scored again for them. He's just the 3rd teenager ever to record a goal or an assist in his first 3 Premier League games after Robbie Keane and Anthony Martial. He got an assist off the bench in his debut, and then he scored 2 and 2 since. Only 5.5 million. The fixtures are so good as well. So Bournemouth have got West Ham away, Sunderland home, Brentford home, Burnley away, Man United home. Is anyone tempted? Villa edged a 1-0 win over Brighton, big 3 points, and Van Heck actually came off before they conceded, so he got the clean sheet points banked, and it was an own goal off a corner. Mings credited with the assist to Rahul. Rogers 2-pointer, he got booked. And lastly, James Milner has equalled Gareth Barry's record for the most appearances made in Premier League history. Obviously he's not really an FPL relevant asset, but got to do an honourable mention there. He's also the only player who's appeared in every single FPL season since the game was created in the 2002-03 season. Crazy longevity. So moving on to the team selection and transfer plans, I'm lined up with a 3-5-2. It's Raya in goal, Mukiele, Gabriel and Van Dijk in defence. It's Rodgers and Bumo, Bruno, Rice and Enzo midfield, and then it's Haaland and Thiago up front. Got quite a strong bench for once. It's Dubravka, Anderson, O'Reilly and Mane. Not quite strong enough to consider the bench boost personally. I'm looking at double Gameweek 33 for that, but yeah, I've got Mukiele versus Anderson versus O'Reilly for that last defender spot, which is really close. I've currently got Mukiele starting with the home fixture, but it's a close one. He is very good for Defcons. Hopefully Xhaka's back for that game, but I'm not sure how likely that will be. I've currently got the captain armband on Haaland, who's got Newcastle home. Bruno G went off last game, potential hamstring injury. If he does miss that game, he'll be a huge miss for Newcastle. Bruno vice captain, but yeah, I'll be following any further Haaland injury news. So I've got one free transfer, 0.1 mil in the bank. The team already looks great this week really, so the plan is to roll the transfer. Looking a bit further ahead instead, something that I'm considering is Rice to Wirtz and Enzo to Dango. This would be in game week 28 when Chelsea and Arsenal face one another, so it gives me a chance to hop off Rice and Enzo that week with 2 rolled transfers. There's a really good fixture swing there as well, because Wirtz has got West Ham home, Dango's got Burnley away that week. Liverpool and Brentford's fixtures beyond that are great leading into game week 31, and neither will blank, so I quite like that. I only have 0.1 million in the bank though, and game week 28 isn't until the 27th of Feb, so I might be priced out by then, depending on what happens next week. In which case, I still think Ryan's a consideration as well for 5.5 mil. Dango's 5.8 mil, so one of those two. I don't think I'm likely to get Salah because I just don't have the midfielder spot to free up, otherwise I might have considered that. If I do make those 2 moves, it'll be in game week 28, and I think instead I'd probably just sell Haaland for Watkins or maybe Raul Jimenez in game week 31. Just as a 1 week punt since they've both got a nice fixture. Thanks for watching and good luck with any players you've got left to play in the double. Hit subscribe below. See you soon for the next one.